Real quick, intro for YouTube people. Welcome back. This is the second part of the rated team. This is going to be much shorter than the first part, but we do have some teams to finish up for today, so we're just going to hop right into it because we got shit to do after this today. So yeah, I'm not going to hesitate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I'm going to assume it's for Jita, but like. Yeah, I don't know. The CS just throws me off, bro. I don't fucking know, man. I really don't know. Okay. But why? I mean, so I guess my immediate question for the left team is why play C assist on this team? I don't know if there's really a reason to play C here. Like it's not even like a standout C assist either. B just seems like it would be better in like almost every way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like C assist on this team. I think B would just be better. Another thing to consider about this team is maybe switching order, like playing Kefla point instead, perhaps. I honestly, it's like preference, but like for me, I like having at least decent key blast game on my point character most of the time, and like Kefla's is definitely better than Gogeta's. So I would definitely take a look at playing the other order as well and see which one you like better. Maybe CS for Kefla, but like what does CS give her that is worth running a 15-second cooldown assist? I don't know. I just don't think like it's that yeah, I don't know. It just it doesn't seem like it would be all that beneficial. Like neutral's covered because you have TN no matter what. And like B is good block stun too, isn't it? Isn't B assist on Gogeta like good block stun? I think it's like mid 30s at least, right? Or low 30s. I don't know, man. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on T assist for this team yet. Yeah, and I do think that Gogeta likes having meter for sure. His bullshit factor like increases tenfold when he has meter, because then like you can start EX punching people and doing like EX flip for like plus frames and shit like that. So that's another reason that you might want to consider Kefla. And she builds more meter. She builds more meter in combos than both of them as well. And like meter is going to be important for this team, not only because Gogeta likes it, but because Tien likes it too, right? So Kefla might be a more efficient point character for the comp. And then, you know, and Kefla has good air-to-air buttons as well. So like you have the ground covered with Tien. You know, you have your scramble assist / mix assist if you run B on Gogeta, and then like neutral is pretty straightforward as long as your air-to-air game is on point and your anti-air game is on point. Whereas I think with the way that this is working, like you're running double lateral, and like I always say, like double lateral is not bad at all. Like it's really not bad in the slightest, but it does force you to cover certain parts of the screen that would otherwise be kind of brain dead. Like you you just kind of like some teams in assist just allow you to not really have to think about, you know, people jumping in on you or like up backing, right? Because a lot of people just like to up back mindlessly. You get a lot of that nowadays. So I would consider maybe playing Kefla point, at least for the meter game above all else. The team is solid. It's three good characters, right? It could be better. It could definitely be better. It does a lot of damage though. Like it definitely hurts when you hit people, which is really good. Oki wise, like it's a little underwhelming, I would say. Like in terms of like level 3 Oki, it's a little could be better. Could be better. But I also don't know if like a Broly would be better for this comp. I'm not sure. I don't see many people play Kefla Broly. I really don't know how that shell works. I don't have enough data. I'm sure it's fine, at least. I just don't know if there's any like you know, explicit synergy, because Broly here, right? Broly does a ton of damage as well. The assist is higher block stun. You know, you don't lose the visual obscurity factor, and then like, you know, you know, his command grab game is just better. He's just a better anchor, right? He's just a better anchor in general. So like, that might be something to consider, perhaps. Now, diagonals aren't covered, but Kefla has good air-to-air game, so it's like not as bad. She also has up ball super dash, right? So like, not having diagonals covered by assist is not as big of a deal for her as it would be for other characters, I would say. But yeah, team is solid. I think it could be a little bit better. I would look at order. I would look at assist pick for Gogeta, and I would also think about, is there a better anchor? I don't think Tien is bad here, but I don't think he's like particularly good here either. You know what I mean? I don't think it's insane. Yeah, this team is like it's like in that good but not fantastic range for me. I would say it's probably like high threes, probably like a 3.8 or a 3.9. It's like I said, it's good, but I think for me it just barely misses like the upper echelon of teams. Yeah, I would take a look at those things. And you know, maybe honestly, like if you like this team so much and you're just gonna pick it anyway, like you'll be fine, right? Like it's not bad. It's not bad in any way. So it's not like, oh my god, like it's not ultra optimal. Like I'm gonna fail. I just think it could probably be a little bit better than it currently is. Team on the right, submitted by Alistair, and he says, do you think running base Goku as my switch anchor is more effective in the long run? Base Goku is your preferred anchor, but you want him mid with the neutral assist behind him for better neutral into DHC into 21's game plan. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. First of all, I don't know why you put switch anchor in quotations. I don't really know what that means. I don't know what the term switch anchor refers to personally. I will be the first to admit that. Oh, camera going out of focus a little bit. Yeah, so I don't really know what you mean by switch anchor. I don't know how that differs from a normal anchor, to tell you the truth. Maybe you're thinking like you're playing, you know that you're playing Gotenks point, so you know, regardless of which character ends up last, you're kind of going to be fine with the 21 base Goku comp. Now, I will say that 21's best slot is mid. It is her best slot, and base Goku's best slot is anchor, right? So if you play this order, you're not playing the characters in their best slots. That being said, it's not that huge of a deal, especially if you're going to be rotating characters often. If this is the order that you want to play, then that's all fine and dandy. But I think in the mid game, if Gotenks should die, 21 with an assist behind her is stronger than base Goku with an assist behind him. Just because there's much more threat, right? She covers more of the screen. She has more gimmicks. She also has the command grab, the level 3 Oki. She has steel based stuff, you know, EX ball. So I would say that, you know, 21 mid is a little bit better. That being said, it's not a huge deal. Like whatever order you want to play, I think is going to be fine, because this team is broken. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter all that much. So yeah, I wouldn't tunnel vision on that. I think your assists are correct. The assists look good to me. I would say though, consider a C assist here. And you're not gonna hear me say that very often, but I would say either on base Goku or Gotenks, consider a C assist. The reason is because both of them have C beams, and both characters love C assists on their teammates, right? So like if you have a C assist on base Goku, then that means you're gonna get, you know, multi-ghost combos and shit like that on Gotenks, which is really good. If you have a C assist on Gotenks, then you're gonna get combos with base Goku where you're able to charge Genki and release it in the same combo for like damage optimization and stuff, right? And they both and in this particular structure, you running BAA, right? They kind of do the same thing for you. It's a mid-range assist that you can call in scrambles and high block stun, right? So they have that redundancy factor. They both kind of do the same thing for you. So I would really consider running a C assist on one or the other. I would say if I were to choose one, I would run it on Gotenks, probably. C assist points are usually like pretty, like if you're gonna run a C assist, most of the time you probably want it on your point, especially because if you run it on base Goku, then you're running redundancy because you're running double lateral, right? And you don't really need that. Whereas, yeah, I think it would be much stronger on Gotenks. So I would consider C assist and not worry too much about the order. I think the team is really, really strong. This is a very top tier team. Super, super top tier. I would say it's like it's honestly like, it's really good. It's like one of the best teams I've seen today. I would say 4.8. Like it's really, really good. Something like C tanks 21A base QA. So I would say run C on Gotenks, like pretty much like that's my biggest suggestion, is to run C on Gotenks. Like I said, I don't think you need to worry too much about the order. Either way you run the order, I think it's fine. I don't think it matters that big in the long run, especially if you're gonna be switching characters a lot. If you're tagging a lot and DHing a lot, I don't think it's gonna matter all that much. I would say 21 is a little bit better mid than base Goku, but it's not that big of a deal in the long run. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But team is really good. Team is good. You should keep playing it if this is what you're playing. And make sure that your Ghost Oki is on point. Okay, next two teams. Also, can everyone like hear me okay? I know my mic, you know, some people have had trouble like hearing me or like having me cut out or whatever. Hopefully you guys can hear me fine. If not, just like let me know and I'll try to make adjustments. Harper, what's up? Zuki Wookie, wow. Thank you for the follow. How you doing today? Okay, team on the left. Immediately, the issue that I see with the team on the left is that there's no... it's like a triple point team, kind of, is what it looks like. You don't really have any character that likes to be anchor very much, so like pretty much no matter what, when you're left with your last character, it's not going to feel very great. If you're willing to look past that, then I think it can be okay. Like assists are pretty good, right? Does a lot of damage. So that's good. Neutral game is like pretty okay, I would say. I'd say this team is lacking a bit on the neutral department, just because, you know, GT, Zamasu, both of them kind of need help. Both of them kind of need help in the neutral, and since you're running Kefla point, they're less likely to get that help that they need. So Yano, thank you for the follow. So I would think about that as well. This team's goal is to like kind of like if you lose the point matchup, it feels really fucking bad because it feels like this team lacks avenues to come back into games. It seems like a team that like if you have momentum and you get the first hit and you're able to run with it, then it's really good. And you could kind of steamroll your opponent because it has great mix and great damage, and everything like that. But if you're playing from behind, it might feel really bad because this team is not the strongest in the neutral department. It has no dedicated anchor, right? So these are things that I would think about. That being said, like I think the characters are like fine. It just feels like a very mid-tier team to me, right? It feels like you could just if you're trying to accomplish the same things, you could just pick characters that do strictly stronger things than the characters that you pick. But if these are the characters that you want to play, of course, I'm not going to discourage you from playing them. That's not really my style. But I think it could be stronger, and I don't think that this team is top tier, or you know, it doesn't really compete with the meta teams that are being played right now to a significant degree. So I would say, yeah, this team is like I would say like probably like a 3, low 3s. Yeah, it just feels like it feels like it's not bad. It just feels mediocre given what other people are playing in meta right now. So I would consider. And I know you like playing strong shit, Jack. So I just don't think this is strong enough. This just seems like you know, this is a new season. I just want to fuck around with some characters, and if that's the purpose, then fine. But if you're trying to enter tournaments with this, I think you're gonna struggle. Like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really difficult. This is the team that Drax submitted. I don't know if this is the team that he's gonna play, but it's a team that he submitted. Yeah. Okay, next team on the right, submitted by Mango Daily 21. We've seen this team around here in the clouds, and it's a pretty good one. You know, we got the Gogeta UI. I think is like pretty solid. I don't think it's the best shell in the world, simply because like I don't like it when neither of my first two characters have rapid key blast. I don't fuck with that very much, but that's just a me philosophy thing. I like shooting people. Maybe you don't like shooting people. This team excels in the mid range though. It's really good at like it's really good at once there's guaranteed to be an engagement, winning that engagement, or winning scrambles, right? This team is like super good at winning scrambles and forcing scrambles as well. So those are both very strong things. So I think if you're trying to play that style, that's very good. I will say that, you know, for the order that you're running, it's going to be a little bit difficult in neutral. You have no long range assist behind Gogeta, right? Who also doesn't have rapid key blast. So unless you're YOLOing and trying to force your way in with system mechanics or lariat, it's going to feel hard. It's going to feel hard against people that are willing to sit back and call their assist and just shoot you to death. So for that reason, I would say maybe consider playing B. Maybe consider playing B on UI, just to give you some kind of small like neutral control element. Just because, you know, I don't think you really need UIA and basic OQA. I don't think you really need that. Like the anti-air property on UIA is really good and all, but it's not like Gogeta has hard time comboing or extending. And you know, he really does need that help in the neutral to get his game plan started. So I would consider B on UI. I think the order is like pretty fine. Like the difference between UI point and Gogeta point is not very relevant. I don't think it's not like that drastic. I think Gogeta's a little bit better on point, but either way, I think you'll be okay. Definitely not a team to fuck with level 7 gimmicks all that much. Good mix, right? Really good RPS as well. All your characters have like defensive mechanics that must be respected from your opponent as well, because Gogeta has DP and counter. UI, of course, is UI. Base Goku has EX elbow, 4-framer. So like when you're on defense, you have options, right? When you're playing defense, this team has the tools to play active defense. And that is something that you're gonna have to find a balance between, because like with great power comes great responsibility, and a lot of the time whenever you hand people moves that have invulnerability, it tends to become a crutch on the defense, and they feel like they have to use this move every time, you know, they get put in block stun. That is the trap that you risk falling into in this in this on this team comp. You know, and I think that's compounded by the fact that the team is scramble central. Like it is meant to cause scrambles and come out on top in the scrambles, right? That is kind of like what the team is designed upon, and I don't think that's a bad thing in current season. It's not the style that I prefer to play, but I do respect that it is a strong strategy. So for that reason, I think this team is just at the bottom of the upper echelon, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It's a good team. Good team. And you know, Mango, you found success with this team in the past. I've definitely seen this team work, and I think it's fine for you. So I don't think you need to switch anything. Okay, next. Submitted by Ain't No Next Time. This is actually the first one of these we've had the entire rated team, I think. Oh boy. Uh-oh. I think I did this team already, didn't I? No. MFCR did Kefla. What is Zambi? It's like a lariat assist. It's like him doing slash. It's like him doing slash. There's something I don't really like about the comp. Well, it's not the worst. It feels like so the problem really is that, like, while these characters may have been buffed, they still need help, right? They're not strong enough to just like run whatever you want and succeed. And I think that like the assist structure could be a little bit better, for sure. Like to me on this team, there's no way I wouldn't run Janemba A at least, just because like both characters like are based on like running away. Like that's what this team does very well. Like Zamasu and Goku Black as characters, they're really good at just running from their opponent and forcing their opponent to chase them. And for that reason, I think having, you know, the Janemba A assist, which tracks, right, and it's really easy to catch people out in bad spots and easy to convert off of even from long ranges, is like really good for these two characters. So at the very least, I would definitely consider running Janemba A. I think it's just better on this comp for sure. The team overall is like, I think it's fine. It definitely feels like a, you know, these characters got buffed, so I want to throw them on the team and see how they work. I don't think that there's well, what's the block stun difference on A or B for Zam? I actually don't know off the top of my head. 29 different block stun for B. What's A though? What's A's block stun? $30. Okay, so very similar block stun in that regard. So that's not that big of a deal. And as much as I think, man, it is difficult. This is actually difficult, because while I think like Goku Black has better neutral than Zam for sure, I think his mix is worse. So transition game might be, I don't know. I think it really depends on how you want to play the game. If you're willing to play the runaway style and just like be lame, then I think this order is fine. But you definitely need to play A. Like You definitely need to play A on Janemba. I think no matter what, I think you need to pick A. Because I think your team is significantly weaker. Playing these assists because there's redundancy. There's a ton of redundancy, right? Like B on Janemba and B on Zamasu are very similar assists. And they cover the same zone in neutral. And Goku Black is not particularly strong at covering diagonals himself. So I think definitely like having that bullshit assist that you can just throw out in neutral and just kind of assess the situation and see what happens in the form of Janemba A is going to be a lot better for this team, for sure. You're running no rapid key blasters. You asked me, as a comment, you asked me, this seems really solid, just curious if there's a weakness that this team has that you may have missed. The weakness, the immediate weakness that I see is that it has no rapid key blaster. Now it has Goku Black, which has 5S, which is like double durability, but it's not as impactful when people are running beam properties in neutral, right? So like you're not going to be able to sit there and throw 5S all day if they're running beam property assist, right? So for that reason, that could be an issue that you run into. It's definitely something that you want to consider. I think that you will run into some rough matchups here and there. Like I think base Vegeta plus beam comps are going to be kind of rough for you. It's gonna be hard just because of the way that your team has to play neutral. You cannot match him. You cannot match him in that regard. But other than that, it's pretty solid. Like it does good damage. The mix is there. You know, Janemba is a much better anchor in this season than he was last season, even. And I think he was good last season as well. I just think he's really good right now. It almost feels like this is a heavy rotation team. Is what it feels like. It feels like instead of playing, you know, you're playing Goku Black point, you're playing Zamasu mid, and you're playing Janemba anchor. It feels like you're going to be rotating characters a lot. That would be the best style to play with this team. Because all three characters have something to bring to the table. Like Zamasu is probably going to have your best conventional mix on the team. Janemba, of course, has his EX extensions. He has, you know, really fast command grab now. He has level 3 Oki, so you're going to be bringing him in on level 3 situations. So I think if you play that style, I think it'll be good for you. I think it's a pretty good team. But it does have weaknesses against certain shells, and I wouldn't even make mention of this. I wouldn't even make mention of this if the shells weren't so prevalent, right? If it was like, you know, this team is really good, but it loses to hit Nappa shell, right? I wouldn't even bring it up because like who the fuck is playing that? No one's playing hit Nappa, but people are playing base Vegeta beam, right? They are playing base Vegeta beam property. They are playing Teen Gohan beam property, right? And those comps I think are going to give you a little bit of trouble, especially with the assists that you're running now. I think you absolutely need to run Janemba A, and then, you know, reassess, like take a look at how you want to play the game and figure out, you know, is Goku Black the point that you want to be playing, or is there something that works better, or do you want to switch order? It just really depends. But it's a pretty solid team overall. I would say it's a very season 4 team. Like it is, yeah, definitely playing season 4. I think it's like probably like a 3.8, 3.9, something like that out of 5. It's like pretty good team. Pretty good team. I don't think you'll be displeased, especially if you like these characters. Most people that are playing Goku Black, the Matsu comps, are playing it because they just really like the characters. And I think this is the first season where you can actually play these two characters on a team and not get completely fucking dumped on, you know, at every turn. So, good team. Someone asked, am I gonna play KOF 15? I don't understand the question. I feel like I'm getting baited with the end of that sentence, but I plan on trying KOF 15. Okay, 18 UIZ bully. This is submitted by Choco. Oh, on launch. Okay. Bro, you said with lunch, and I'm like, am I getting baited? Like, I'll probably try it. KOF seems like my type of game, so but I've never played one before, so I am definitely gonna give it a shot. Okay. 18B. Oh, okay, he's running B. Okay. Thank you for the follow as well. So 18B, UIA, Zebroly A. Choco says, what should be my game plan? So this is interesting because in my opinion, there's not really a whole lot of reason for you not to be running A here, right? Especially for like the way that you kind of like to play the game. And the reason I say that is because I think UI and Broly are both really good with barrier behind them, like really strong. Like, you know, barrier command grab, barrier armor property, barrier invulnerability. Like, I think that stuff is really good on characters like UI and Zebroly, who already have strong mid-range. And it's just gonna make your scramble game even better, and you scramble a lot, so I think that you should definitely consider barrier. Definitely consider barrier for this team. If you want to play the team like a human being, your goal is this is a lame team. This is a lame comp. It doesn't seem that way, but when you play 18 point, you definitely need to play lame. Like you have to play lame. And what I mean by that is you just gotta shoot people, right? You're shooting people from full screen. You're calling 17 barrier. You're using defensive assist calls, and you're cutting off the approaches from your opponent. And once you get the ball rolling, right? Once you get that first hit and that knockdown, the Oki game is really strong. Of course, you have the EX17 calls. You have level 3 Oki. All that stuff is really good, but you do have to be willing to play slow. 18 is not a character that benefits a lot from playing fast, because in terms of like characters that are being run right now, a lot of other points have better mid-range. They also have better diagonal control, right? Now you're running UIA, which is good. It helps their anti-air game, but it still doesn't, it does not stop the problem of when people are occupying diagonals against this team. 18 has a hard time covering. So and that is why it's important to not go too fast, because people are going to be in those spots a lot, and you want to make sure that you're not moving so fast that you're not ready to answer. Like, because her air game is also not like super great, because her buttons in the air are just not. You've pressed 18 buttons in the air. They're not anything to write home about. Especially like JL. Like, what the fuck is that, right? Like, so I would say the game plan is to kind of play like a slow lame style. Wait for a mistake, right? Wait until your opponent gets into the mid range. You use the defensive assist calls, and you transition to very strong Oki game afterwards. And I think playing that style, the team is good. The team is also like obviously very strong. Like I think this team is obviously really good. But I do think it takes a certain style of player to make it work to the extent that you may want. Like, to win a tournament with this team, you really got to be patient, right? You got to be really patient to win with this team. And it's really funny. Like, a lot of people are gonna look at UI Zebro and be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about? What do you mean you have to be patient?" You really do. Like, that is kind of the dynamic that 18 brings to the table. It's like you're rewarded for patience. And avoiding scrambles, or at least scrambling in a favorable position, like scrambling when barrier is already out, or, you know, whenever 17 is already out, and locking out assist calls, and just kind of playing this really annoying style, like, oh my god, I can't catch this character, what am I gonna do? Yeah, it's a lame ass team, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta play lame if you're gonna play this. So I think if you do play that style, with B assist, I think it's weaker. I think it's weaker than with A assist. I would say for me, this team is like it's like very nearly top tier. If you run A assist, I think it's like literally right below top tier. Like, this is like the best non-top tier team I think you can get, just about. Or potentially the weakest top tier team that you get. It really just depends on your interpretation. I think with barrier, it's like a 4.4. Without barrier, it's probably a little weaker, like a 4.3 or a 4.2. But either way, the team is good. It's just gonna be on you as a player to use your brain and not, you know, just hold forward against your opponent constantly and die for it, because that's what you do now. And yeah, it's not gonna work if you want to play that. If you want to play that team against strong players. So okay, next teams. Ito. Oh, this is spicy. That's spicy. Oh, we got the Dockinator. He said all these good. He's good, man. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of them. Okay, team on the left, very interesting. Hit A, Gogeta B, Broly B. This is a triple point team. This is a triple point team. The anchor game is not super great on any of these, but heavy rotation for sure, right? You're constantly tagging, right, to get that blue life back, to change the things in neutral that your opponent has to work with. And I think heavy rotation styles are really good, especially with Hit, because you start the game against Hit, right, who has, you know, good assists behind him, but the moment that Hit gets out, now you have to deal with Hit A. And we all know what happens when you have to deal with Hit A. You just lose the game. You just lose the game when you have to deal with Hit A. So I think that dynamic is really, really strong, especially with Hit in particular. I think it has good visual obscurity as well. The explosion from Broly B assist can make it hard to see what Hit is doing. And I think he kind of needs something like that to enable like some of his more fucked up, you know, RPS and mix-ups. I will say that, once again, your first two characters are lacking rapid key blast game, right? Now you do have the B assist on Gogeta, which can help you like get in on people that are just trying to shoot you, but it does have effective range, right? It does not go all the way full screen, so you do want to be a little bit careful about comps like that. I think you need to really Hit is best played kind of reactively, right? Like he has the tools to play reactive. He has JS to stop people from super dashing on him. He has counters, he has stances, he has all that stuff. But you have to be willing to play off of your opponent, right? I think the round start game is pretty strong, but like if you don't get the hit on round start, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a little bit difficult if you're trying to play aggressive. If you're playing, I think if you're going to play committal round start with this team, immediately after that happens, if you don't get the hit, you need to switch to playing lane, right? And just kind of waiting to see what your opponent is going to do. Look for these approaches, and your defensive game on this team is really good. As Broly called defensively is very good. Covers diagonals, big block stun, jail to the ground. And then Hit with stances, of course, invul properties. It's really, really annoying for your opponent to deal with. So I think if you play heavy rotation with this team, it's really good. I'm looking at the DHCs to see if I don't think there's any DHC issues. Team does a lot of damage. It hurts a lot as well. Like, and I think that's like something that has become more important in this season than in previous seasons. Before, I think you could get away with less damaging teams. Nowadays, it feels like you kind of have to run big damage, just because like people are just exploding off of random ass hits because we're scrambling. So, and your character's M buttons are pretty far. So like their mid range, your character's mid range are pretty solid. And that is something that's really important in the game right now. So I like the team. It could be better, of course. I think when you're forced to play, you know, triple point style heavy rotation, there is the weakness of, you know, no matter what character is left on anchor, it doesn't feel the best, right? If you're ever down to your last character, it's going to feel difficult to make those comebacks, just because, you know, these characters are not anchors. Like, none of these characters are anchors, and it's going to be hard to come back into the game if you're playing an opponent that knows how to lock out your character's options. And there are people that do that very well, so you do want to keep that in mind moving forward. But I think the team is solid. I kind of like where your head is at. I would say I want to give it like a 3.5. Just real solid. Nothing that I think is going to be like, you know, ultra top tier or anything like that. But I do think if you like these characters, they can be played together in this way, and you can definitely make it work. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. I do like the philosophy behind the team. I just feel like the characters themselves are just a little bit weak given the nonsense that is in Dragon Ball FighterZ today. And those of you who have played any amount of Season 4 will understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. Okay, team on the right. Bardock, Kid Buu, Tien. Now, two issues that I'm seeing immediately. First of all, one of the sacred rules, right? One of the sacred rules that I have, me personally, you can choose to listen to this or not, if you know, depending on the way you think about the game, is when you pick Kid Buu, you play him point. That is one of my golden rules. When you pick Kid Buu, you run him point. Why? Because Kid Buu is arguably the best point in the game. He's probably second right now. But it is hard to justify not playing Kid Buu point. And he opens up so much for the game. He opens up a lot of the game for you because he's a character that while he doesn't have rapid ki blast, he doesn't need them. It's kind of like 21 in that regard too, right? Like 21 also does not have rapid ki blast, but she absolutely doesn't need them because all of her other tools in neutral kind of cover those issues for her. Kid Buu has, you know, really good beam. He has great ki blasts, even though they're not rapid. He has full screen normals. He has good scramble. He has good mid range. He has everything, right? He has everything. So he's going to be much more consistent of a point character for you. And more on that. All right, let's talk about these assists, right? So first of all, Kid Buu is a character with 3 great assists, and I think which assist you pick is really dependent on, you know, how you want to play the game. That being said, I think Tien and Bardock get huge benefit off of A, like huge benefit. It's too good for characters like Tien and Bardock who explode you from the mid range and like playing that style to not run the assist that says, okay, if you ever get put into block stun by my character, you take a 50-50, right? And that is something that these characters lack, right? Bardock and Tien lack that. Okay, you're blocking, take a 50-50, unless Tien isn't sparking, of course. But that's completely different. So I would consider running A here, for sure. I would consider running A, especially because you're already running beam on Tien, right? You don't really need double beam. You don't need double lateral beam. If this was like GT, then I would be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Because you're covering diagonals, but you're running a C assist that also adds redundancy because you're running double lateral beam, and yeah, you're just gonna have a really long cooldown Kid Buu A or Kid Buu C assist. So don't really want to deal with that. Another thing, don't need Bardock B for this team. I don't think you need Bardock B on this team, unless there's something super crazy with Tien that he gets off of Bardock B. I don't think there's really a reason for you to run B. Why? Because Kid Buu 50-50s with A, even mid-screen, and that's like not an issue, right? Like you mix off of A with these characters anyway, so I don't think you need to run B. Thank you for the follow. So the philosophy behind it is if there's 2 assists that offer negligible difference in utility in terms of, like, you know, what mixes and what block strings you can go for, you just run the faster one, right? You just run the faster one because the faster one is going to be better in scrambles. And is going to win out in more scenarios where, like, you and your opponent are close to each other and you just call the assist and try to let them do the work for you. And yeah, I don't think Kid Buu definitely does not need B. I would say he's actually better with A, just straight up. So yeah, I would say Bardock A for sure. And then Kid Buu, I would consider A as well. I would consider running all A on this team and running Kid Buu point, and then I think it's a really scary team, a really scary team. It mixes really well, it does great damage, it has pretty decent screen control. I will say that Kid Buu does become like the crux of the team. Like, Kid Buu is the #1 player on your team if you run this team, just because the team without Kid Buu, right, is way weaker, right? Like, Bardock Tien is like a fine shell, but it's not like standout in any way. Like, it mixes way less. It's going to do less damage. It's going to have a way harder time in neutral in general. So I would say that, you know, you play Kid Buu point and really prioritize keeping him alive. Like, you're not afraid to spend sparking on Kid Buu on this team in the slightest, especially because you're going to get 50-50 off of your sparking blast off of it in the first place. So yeah, definitely do not hesitate to run that game plan. And then I think the team is pretty good. I actually really like this team. It has some matchup issues with the back 2 characters. Like I said, if you run Kid Buu point, then Bardock Tien, that shell has bad matchups, for sure. Like, if you run into like a 21, you know, if you run into a 21 or a character like that, it's going to be difficult, I think, for sure. But I think it is strong, and it has trade-offs, right? It has good mix, good damage, solid neutral. It's just like those neutral bullies, those neutral bully characters, your Brolys, your 21s, your base Vegetas. When you lose Kid Buu, it's gonna feel really bad against those characters. It's gonna feel really bad, which is why I'm saying you need to focus on it's tourney Kelly. It's also on that page that you used just there, but here, bro. Yeah. So good team. I kind of like it. It's like a team that I would almost play. I would almost play this team. I wouldn't play it, but I would almost play it. I would almost play it. I'm just not a TN player. And that is not, that's just a matter of preference. I'm just not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Right under 4 range, I think. This is like a I think if you as is, I think this team is exceptionally weaker than if you were running better assists on them. Like I think if you run all A, this team is like literally probably like 4 out of 5, 3.9 out of 5. With these assists in this order, I think it's way weaker. It's like closer to like a 3.5, a 3.6, something like that. I really do think that you should reconsider your order and the assist structure. So okay, yeah, I'm finishing up the rated team because there were too many. There were too many on the first day that we did it, so I had to split it into 2, which always happens. There's always way more people submitting teams than I think there will be. I'm like, fuck, bro. Okay, moving on. 2 more teams. Oh, we're almost done, guys. We almost got through everything. Okay, another blue Kuka. Oh, this is weird. This is weird. This is weird. Not weird in a bad way, but it's weird. It's a weird team. Oh, another blue Kuka. Okay, we got double blue Kus. Whoops. You would have done it, but you don't have a team. It do be like that. A lot of people are in team crisis right now, which is why I think it's really good for me to do this, because you know some people might have second thoughts or they might not know just how good the teams that they're trying to try out are. So that's why I chose now to do it as opposed to, you know, before or whatever. Okay, so team on the left: Blue Goku, Gotenks, Piccolo. Man, 3 bullshit ass characters thrown on a team. But there are some things to talk about here. So, I think this is not the right order. And you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have to make a decision because once again, this is a team that does not really have a dedicated anchor. Like none of these characters like prefer to be anchor over any slot, right? Now that being said, both Gotenks and Blue Goku I think are way better anchors than Piccolo. Like way better. Especially Blue Goku. I would say if I were to switch your order, I would say play Gotenks point, play Piccolo mid, and play Blue Goku last. Because in the case that you are ever left with one character, right? If you are left with a last character, you would rather it be Blue Goku than the other two, because Blue Goku has good bullshit factor, right? He has skip neutral with EX tackle, he has access to plus frames, he has a 17 frame command grab, he has the level 5 to squeeze out, you know, damage. On situations where you absolutely need to get a kill and need to get it now. He has a low, right? He has all that stuff. And I think for that reason, his tool set is more suited to be an anchor than those other 2 characters easily. Now, I was in the camp that in season 3, Blue Goku was a fine anchor even in season 3. Like I think he has. Like for the things that you look for on an anchor character, he ticks all the boxes. He just doesn't prefer to be anchor, right? But I think he can be played anchor to good effectiveness. So I would say play Blue Goku anchor on this team. I think it's good. I think that is good. I think that is something that you should definitely look into. And then I think the team is like kind of absolute bullshit, right? It mixes really fucking hard. It does great damage. Any Piccolo comp pretty much is gonna do great damage. Blue Goku definitely definitely doesn't shy away from the damage as well. Gotenks does fine damage, right? It's normalized now. He doesn't absolutely nuke you off of every rejump now, but it's still good damage. And the Oki is fantastic on this team. Oh my god, the Oki. You have such great Oki on this team. Because we have Ghost Oki, we have Orb Oki on Piccolo, we have Ki Blast safe jumps on Blue Goku. You know, all that stuff is fantastic. So when you knock down your opponent, they're gonna suffer really hard. And I think that's really important in the game of Dragon Ball Fighters nowadays. So I really like where your head is at with these 3 characters. I would just say look at the order. The order is bothering me. I think Blue Goku should be anchor here. And also one thing to consider with this team, it is high execution. It's a high execution team. If you play this team, you need to have your Blue Goku you know, your blue Goku loops down. You need to know how to do your re-jumps and your Gotoki on Gotenks. You need to know how to do your routes on Piccolo, right? These are 3 complicated characters in terms of like combo routes. So you really have to have execution on point to succeed. And that is something that I want you to think about, because it is not an easy team. This is not an easy team to play. It's not an easy team to play at all. So definitely want to spend time in training mode, making sure you have your routes done, routes down, check your assist routes, make sure everything is good to go, and then I think it's good from there. It's a really good team. I would really just consider switching the order. And yeah, because of how difficult I think the team is, I would say it's probably like low forest, like a 4.1 or something like that. It's a really good team. And you should definitely play it if you have the stomach for it. If you have the stomach to do, you know, all the routes, all the complicated routes whenever you need to, absolutely play it. Because the damage and the Oki and the meter and all that stuff that you get off of straight hits is going to be really like, you're going to get big trade-offs off of them. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, team on the right: Bluku, Kefla, Janemba. This is submitted by Mr. Uncle Viz. I didn't know you were considering Janemba. Interesting. It's really really interesting. Thinking about changing SSJQ for Janemba, but you don't know 100% yet. Okay, so once again, I think that you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You Janemba players out there, you people that want to play Janemba, please pick A assist. Please. Especially, right? Like, I think B assist on Janemba has its place for sure. But I don't think that places whenever you already have lateral control. And this team already does. You already have Kefla A, which is now 30 frame block stun. Comes out really fast. It's gonna cover neutral for you just fine, right? You don't need another lateral control assist in the form of Janemba B. In fact, I think Janemba A gives you a ton on this team, like a ton, like a crazy amount. Because what it allows you to do is it gives you really nice conversions. It gives you good like tick setups, right? It gives you setups where like you call the assist and you force your opponent to reflect the whole thing, and then they have to, you know, reflect at the correct time afterwards to stop the you know, the anti-reflect string or the meteor or the command grab that comes after. That is really strong. Really good, and it's really good for damage optimization on these characters too, because it will always allow you to get end of combo DR and stuff like that. And I think like that is really strong, especially on blue Goku comps where you don't have diagonal control, right? You don't have diagonal control in this team, and I think Janemba will give you that diagonal control, right? This is your way of dealing with opponents that jump a lot. Or people that are trying to up back. Hold this Janemba assist. I can literally just sit there and wait for you to do something. If you block it out, then I get a block string. If you don't block it out and you try to like super dash or something, hold my 2H into super bombo and take 90%. And I think that dynamic would be a lot better if you ran Janemba A. And you say you were considering SSJ Goku. I think SSJ Goku is good. I do think Janemba's better right now. I think Janemba's the better character at the moment. Just kind of like how they function, right? They're very similar. They both have, you know, 0 on block 2Ls. Janemba has better offense, more consistent offense, I would say, because he has the fast command grab now, and he has level 3 Oki. SSJ Goku is more of a more traditional neutral player, so like you've played blue Goku for a long time, so I think you'll be comfortable with SSJ Goku because the tool sets are similar. You know, you have the rapid ki blast, you have 2S, which is like, oh god, I love pressing that button. You have El Patu, right? -2 on block, 7 frame startup. That type of shit is really good. You have EX punch as well. There's a lot of benefits to playing SSJ Goku, but I do think Janemba is better. And for this team, I think it's fine. I think it's fine for you to run Janemba, especially because if you run SSJ Goku, then it's easier to play against your team because you're looking for similar things with blue Goku and SSJ. With Janemba, you're looking for a completely different subset of things than you would be looking for on the other two characters. And I think that's important to force your opponent out of their comfort zone. And it does a ton of damage. There's great mix. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Yeah, so the team as is, I think is fine. I don't think you have to substitute to SSJ Goku, but if you're comfortable with him to the point where you want to play him more, then that's fine too. But I think the team as is very strong. Very, very strong team. This is like probably like a 4.3, something like that. Like really, really good. Really, really strong team. Definitely worth picking. I like it. What is this neutral you speak of continues to EX blade? Yeah, and that's all fine and dandy, but like it can be countered. Like Janemba neutral is good. It's good neutral, but it has gaps. Especially against people that are willing to walk you down, right? Most people get impatient against Janemba and they run into EX slash, or they like just YOLO super dash at them and get J2H'd. But now, right, it's really important to have like strong ground game against him, like because during the recovery of EX slice, you could take a lot of screen actually, especially if you have an assist available, right? Like you block EX slash, and then what if you do moon jump plus assist immediately, right? Think about how much space you cover while he's in recovery. It's a lot. So yeah, I think it's definitely important to consider. Okay, next team submitted by Nizi, Badel, Vegito. He's running A on everything. Okay. This is a pretty enabling team for Vidal. Pretty enabling team. Double neutral assist. Good block stun on 21A as well. So you're gonna have a much easier time in neutral than you would otherwise. You're not gonna have trouble with mix-ups. Damage is fine. Oki is great. I would say the one thing with his team is that you have to be really mindful of neutral skips, of neutral skip moves. They've added a lot of them in season 4, quote unquote. I keep calling it season 4. It's not actually season 4, but in the new patch they added a lot of ways for people to kind of cheat neutral, and you know, go through projectiles, or you know, go through assists and whatnot. So I do think you need to be mindful of that, because Vidal is going to be relying on her assists mostly in the neutral, like 100% going to be relying on her assists. So you do want to be careful about tunnel visioning or autopiloting against comps that have things to deal with. You know, if the comp that you're playing against has anti-beam or anti-assist in any way, it gets a lot harder to survive in the neutral, because Vidal has a hard time doing it alone, I would say. So that is the one thing that I think is wrong with the team. Otherwise, I think it's great. The Oki is great. The mix is great. We got command grabs. We got anti-airs. We got good damage. DHCs are a tiny bit weak, I would say. Vidal level 1 and level 3 are weak. 21 level 1 is slightly below average, but her level 3 is very below average in terms of damage. So you might miss out on some kills here and there. But I think otherwise it will be fine. I think it's a good team for you, especially this is a very easy team, and definitely will not have issues running it if you decide to. I think it's like low force, I would say, probably like low force, like 4.2 probably out of 5. Pretty good team. I like it for you as a player in particular, and I think that's what's really speaking to me here. Like I'm seeing Nizi playing this team, and I think he would be very strong on it. So in my opinion, there's no reason for you not to pick it. Really good. But then again, he gets really bored really quick, so I don't know. They'll probably be on something new within the week. Okay, the last two teams. Yes, the Waffle Warriors is at 3 p.m. Eastern. Captains first to 5 for the war is at noon EST. So yeah. Okay. Last two teams. The rated team. And of course we gotta end with a Goku Black Cup. Of course. There's no other way to do it. We have a P2. Okay, team on the left submitted by Rodimus Prime, and he says he wants comments on Oki options mainly. Okay, now that is a point that I was gonna bring up with this team, but let's just talk about overall. So yeah, Goku Black on point. I think these assists are really good for him. I think these assists are very strong for him. B assist on Broly, of course, helps him out a ton. In the neutral, cutting off diagonals. Base Goku's a nice block stun assist that you can use to do like teleport shit. I think in that regard, that is really good. I think that is good. I will say that you with this comp that you're running, you're gonna have to have good ground game, right? You're gonna have to good ground game because you're not running an assist that clears off the screen laterally for grounded opponents. So it is gonna be on you, right? To make sure that you have the ground game covered. And by that I mean, you know, you're gonna be 5S'ing a decent amount with Goku Black. You know, God Slicer assist of course is an option for you, but ensuring that people don't just YOLO in the neutral against you is going to be really important. Playing reactively in that matter. When they have, you know, a lariat style move plus an assist, they're going to press it a lot against this team because you don't have a beam or anything like that to discourage them. You can do defensive calls with base Goku and everything, but it could be better, right? So you do want to be really mindful of that pseudo dead zone that you kind of have in the neutral. Let's think, how much damage these characters do? It's like fine, but I think damage is fine. DHC synergy is fine. I think X Broly Spirit Bombs, but Goku Black does not. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Does Goku Black Spirit Bomb now? Did they change that in the new patch? I don't think they did. I could be wrong though. Like they gave a lot of random changes to characters, so I don't actually know if they changed Goku Black. Like maybe Holy Light Grenade goes into Spirit Bomb or something now. I don't think that's the case, but it's not a big deal either way. I don't think. Oki options. Your main Oki. I mean, like that's the thing about this team is he used to have a route into Spirit Bomb, but they got rid of it. Okay, I see. So Oki options, right? So I do think that is a weak point of the team is level 3 Oki especially. Is like it's not all that strong. I don't think on any of your characters. So you're gonna have to get creative, right? You're gonna have to get creative. You have good like safe jump setups and everything, but you're not like, okay, I'm pressing level 3 and they're gonna take a 50-50. You don't have that on this team. So I would say like you want to be creative without being too crazy, because there are some things that you can do, like you know you have teleport stuff, you'll have like frame kill setups and stuff like that, but you want to be really careful that whatever setup you choose to do is still covered, right? You want to make sure that no matter what you do, it's still a safe jump and stuff like that, because like I said, it is a little bit weak on the level on you know the knockdown Oki end of things, at least on hard knockdowns. So like your opponents are gonna want to wiggle, and you want to make sure you do everything in your power to not let them wiggle. If that post black level 3 EX telefloat can media and mix solo. Level 3 EX teleport float can media and mix solo. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't. Which is what I was saying. Like it's it just doesn't. They can't give Goku Black something like that, bro. There'd be too many people playing him, right? Come on, man. But yeah, no, it's really good. It's a good team. It's a good team. It's at least solid, right? I don't think it's like fantastic or anything like that, but I do think it is a very solid team that will get the job done. You have good coverage in the neutral. It does good damage, and all the characters are at least decent. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this team. I'm okay with this. It's not the strongest thing in the world, but I do think it is okay. I would say it's like probably like a 3.3 or something like that. Something around there. Could be better, of course. When you're not picking, you know, strictly top tier characters, there'll always be room to improve. But I do think that the team will work for sure. Like it will definitely work if you are mindful of your opponent's options in the neutral game, especially. Okay, in the last team, we got a very season 4 team. Gogeta, Gotenks, 21. I mean, I'm like searching my mind to see if there's anything not broken about this team. It's just fucked up. This is a pretty fucked up team. I would say it's very season 4 as well. It's a very new patch team. Strong mid range with Gogeta and 21. We have good level 3 Oki. We do great damage. We have a lot of routes as well. There's a lot of routes with these characters. We have good defensive mechanics. At least Gogeta does. I do think that's a little bit of an issue with the last two. Like Gotenks 21 don't have the best defense, unless 21 has steals, of course. But it's not that big of a deal. We have crazy neutral cheats. This team cheats neutral a lot, right? We have EX Punch with Gogeta to go through projectiles and assists. We have Gotenks Spin to go through projectiles. We have 21 EX Ball to clear the screen. It's a really cheater. It's a neutral cheating team. This is pretty much saying like, I don't really want to play neutral that much, so I'm just gonna do everything in my power to just skip it. And I think this team does that like relatively well. But I would be mindful of over reliance on neutral cheats, because it does, well, when you're using special moves for your neutral so much, it's naturally higher risk, because the inability to whiff cancel and to vanish, and the stuff that you're doing is just going to be more whiff punishable, so you do want to be careful about that. But I think the game plan is there. I think getting the hit with Gogeta and bringing in Gotenks for Oki, for Ghost Oki is great. And then anytime you get a hit on any character, you bring in you bring in 21 for the level 3 Oki, and you also can utilize the new tag mechanics pretty well, because Gotenks die missile barrage gives you a tag into DR no matter what, which is really good. So yeah, no, the team is this is the top tier team. This is definitely a top tier team. And yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. I don't think it, like I said, I don't think it's best team in the game, anything like that. But I think it is incredibly strong, and you can't really go wrong with the options that this team is going to give to you. So I would say it's like probably like a 4.6 or 4.7. Definitely a top tier team. But Crabbo already knows that, so yeah. This is the newest in teams for Crabbo to downplay whenever we talk about his characters. Nah, dude, like, my character's Shuggle, what do you mean? Okay. What'd that take? Took an hour and 15 minutes, nice. Alright, that is it for Rated Team this time around. It was really popular. We had over 50 teams submitted, so that was really good. Probably in a few months I'll do this again, once the meta settles with the new patch, because we are still pretty new into the new patch. So like once things settle down and we see some offline play, we're gonna revisit Rated Team, and we'll see how like my opinions change on teams, or like what people's teams look like afterwards. But for the time being, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this time Rated Team. It's always fun to do it, and yeah.